Alright, so I'm back for another review. Now, since I watched and reviewed Murder at 1600, which I love that movie dearly to death, I decided to review another political thriller, which three movies came out the same year in 1997. And of course, today I'm going to talk about this Absolute Power, which was produced and directed by Clint Eastwood and was based on David Baldacci's best-selling novel with the same name. And yeah, this one came out the same year as Murder at 1600 and Shadow Conspiracy. I don't have that film, but I do have this one, and I wanted to check it out. And I rewatched it, and I liked it. It's a good, entertaining political mystery thriller, and a really good one. More a crime thriller, more political crime thriller. A really good one, produced and directed by Clint Eastwood. And Absolute Power stars Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, and Ed Harris in the main roles, and was written by William Goldman, and it's rated there. And this was by Castle Rock, Warner Brothers, and Castle Rock was distributed. And this is a tight thought thriller with a twist. And like I said, it's an entertaining political crime thriller that concerns about the White House. It's not better than Murder at 1600. I love that movie to death. I put Murder at 1600 above this film. Probably I'll put even Shadow Conspiracy about this film because this movie really doesn't have that much action in the film. It's more a crime thriller. But yeah, to the story, Clint Eastwood portrays Luther Whitney, a master thief, a master jewel thief, professional career thief, and ex-con. He's an ex-con. He didn't kill anyone in the 40 years. Since he was in World War II, he was a veteran, and he didn't kill anyone. And he's a he's a professional professional criminal, and he's a master art thief. And he never was a violent. He's a honest person, and he's a good guy. And he's in this museum that he's an artist, that he loves to makes drawings, and he likes to draw sketches. He's more a sketch artist. I think I think there were two of his daughters were in this movie. Alison Eastwood, I think she was the student in the opening scene in the museum. One night, Luther Whitney, he breaks into wealthy home owned by this wealthy mogul, Walter Sullivan, played by E.G. Marshall. By E.G. Marshall, and while he's looking for the jewels, and he's looking for to steal some jewels to get some money, he's disturbed by this two couple, and Luther Whitney hides himself in the room. He goes and he hides himself in the room with a mirror, which was a security room, which no one knows it. And that time he met, this couple, President United States Alan Marshall and Alan Richmond, and of course Christy Sullivan, played by Melora Hardin. And while they were both drunk, they're actually very both drunk, and they're ready to have sex. Alan becomes very violent. He became sexually violent, and he attacks the girl, and he tries to kill her. He tries to rape her. Yes, he tries to rape her. He goes and he starts strangling her, and Christy defends herself. with him, and she punches him back, and she uses the knife for the letter opener, and she stabs him in the arm. She defends herself. She stabs in the arm, and because he tries, to kill her first, she tries to stab her. President Alan Richmond, he calls for help, and two Secret Service agents, shows up, and they see that this girl, that Christie tries to stab their president, so they go and they shoot her, they kill her. She was stabbed. Gloria Russell, she organized everything, and she makes everything they clean off, and they look like that. That Christie came across a burglar, and she was killed because she was a witness, and there was a struggle, and they make everything sure that that everything disappears. They never were in Walter Sullivan's home. While they actually try to leave, they forgot the knife, the letter opener, which has blood in it, and there's fingerprints from Alan and Christie. They forgot that. And Luther, he takes everything that he can to get some money, and he also takes the murder weapon. And when Gloria Russell finds too late, the Secret Service agent, they try to catch him, but he escapes. And they found in the back, they actually found in the back the secret room that he was a witness to a murder. So at first they did found the registry, the license, the plates for the car, but they decided to do first nothing. Now this case, when this girl, he was murdered. This girl, she was murdered. They actually went and they go and they call Seth Frank, played by Ed Harris, homicide detective on the crime scene to investigate the homicide. And it looks like that Christie Sullivan, she came across a burglar, while the burglar, he was stealing. He was looking around, and he was stealing stuff. They probably have some. They probably had a fight, and probably they came a struggle, and the burglar killed her in order to steal stealing from the vault. But this case becomes interesting. In meantime, Luther, we find out that he has a daughter, Kate. She's an attorney, and he met his daughter, but she doesn't want nothing to do with him. And he was always, around his daughter. She never knew that he loved her very much, and that he wasn't in her life, but he always was there like a shadow. He has all these pictures of her. When Seth Frank starts investigating more evidence and leads, he came across Luther Whitney. He's an aftermath thief, because there are 6 thieves who could pull this job, but none of them is in Washington D.C. except Luther Whitney. So he visits Luther Whitney. He becomes an interesting character, but he wasn't the guy. While Secret Service, they found it was Luther Whitney, and because Luther, he wants to escape, he wants to flee the country. He hires this con artist to forge the 4 passwords in which he will leave the country. Then he was already in the airport. He sees the press conference about the girl that was killed, and he sees how Alan Richmond gets away with it, and how he used Walter Sullivan, who's a friend of him, his demise and his grief, in order to make a publicity like he's a good guy. And that really triggered Luther Whitney, and in order to do that, he decides, to blackmail Alan Richmond to come forward. But because that does not work with Secret Service and Gloria Russell, They decide to kill him, and in meantime, um, in meantime, in meantime, Walter Sullivan hires a man, Macaulay, I think was he hires a man, Michael McCarthy, in order to kill Luther Whitney because an eye for an eye, and he tells when he lost his dad who works in the mining, when he was 10 years old, he became rich by 25, and he bought the mining shaft, and then he paid every worker $50,000, and he shut the mine, and he wants an eye for an eye. In meantime, President and Gloria Russell, they order their two Secret Service agents that to kill Luther Whitney, and of course Scott Glenn, who plays Bill Burton, he records conversation of Gloria Russell in order if she will try to pin him off. He tries to find out more from Seth Frank what's going on. And there's no leads to them, so President can get away, and that's actually basically is. Seth Frank asks he asks Kate Sullivan to help, to flush out Luther Whitney, because maybe Luther Whitney is actually not a burglar, he's actually a witness, and he's dangerous. Probably some people who he witnessed the murder will try to kill him. And she says, at first she declines, but then she decides, to help Seth Frank. And on the meeting, Sullivan and of course Secret Service, they try, Secret Service team, Colin, they try to kill with a sniper rifle, try to kill Luther Whitney, but they missed. And of course Kate survives, but Gloria Russell orders, actually Alan Richmond orders they should kill off Luther Whitney's daughter. And that's what Tim Collin tries to do. He follows, he goes and follows Kate, and then he goes to the car and flips her over the cliff, almost kill her. She lands in a hospital, but she's a fighter, she survives. But Tim, he tries to kill once again the girl, Kate, but this time, Luther goes, and he stabs the guy with a needle, in which he goes sleepy, and I love the guy, he says, he was my president, and he says, mercy, and I was like, fuck you, and he, and Clint Eastwood says, already used that option, he goes and kills him, I was like, fuck you and die, and he goes and stabs with the needle. I like that scene, but Luther Whitney, he's like a ghost and shadow, like a guardian angel over his daughter. He saves her. He goes to this guy. He goes to Sullivan, and he drives him with a car and tells him the truth that it wasn't him. It was actually Alan Richmond who did that. He did that. He was violent. He almost raped her. He was violent, and he almost raped her, and he was struggling her. She defended herself, and to Secret Service, they went and shot her when she tried to stab Alan in self-defense. And Gloria Russell ordered it, to clean everything and to look like she came across a burglar and cover the whole thing. And when Walter Sullivan finds this out, he didn't know that Alan Richard betrayed him, and he goes in the White House, with a knife. And of course, Gloria Russell, she gets arrested. And they all the evidence, Luther Whitney, he gives to Seth Frank, and Gloria Russell, she gets arrested for the murder, and second degree murder, and for covering the crime, and and of course, Tim Collin, I don't know where he disappeared somewhere, dragged his body away by Clint Eastwood, and of course, Bill Burton, he commits suicide. He gives all the evidence. He leaves all the evidence. He commits suicide, and by the finale, Alan Richmond, he gets stabbed, and Walter Sullivan claims that he stabbed himself with a knife. We all know that that wasn't true, and by the end, he go in the end, by the end, by the end. The movie, Frank solves the crime, and Whitney, he stays with his daughter, Kate, in the hospital, and yeah, and then the movie ends. Now, Absolute Power is, in my opinion, a really good, nice, entertaining, fun crime thriller, which is, like I said, is based on David Baldacci's best-selling novel. This was actually the 19th movie directed by Clint Eastwood. Now the cast, I thought Clint Eastwood did a really good job as Luther Whitney. Not really, I don't think that will really not be my favorite Clint Eastwood film. I don't have that movie in the line of fire. But I did review all Dirty Harry movies, because my favorite movies that he did were Dirty Harry movies. All of them, all 5 of them are my favorite movies. But Absolute Power, I really like the film. Now my kid story with Absolute Power was when this movie came out. This movie was released on February 14 on Valentine's Day. It was released before Murder at 1600 came out. I don't know when Shadow Conspiracy shows up, but I remember one of my friends, he bought the VHS tape with Clint Eastwood, and he went and he borrowed me the VHS tape, and it was back in 1998 or the summer. He borrowed me the VHS tape, and I remember watching the first time this film. I really like this film. This is not the real, that's not actually the real Blu-ray cover, but I like this one, which is theatrical poster in it. In the back, we only have Clint Eastwood in it, with a disc. But yes, Absolute Power, I really like this film. Now, Laura Linney, she plays the daughter of Luther Whitney, Kate Whitney. She did a great job. I really like her. I mean, I like the scene when she talks the first time she meets Frank, said Frank, and she says, that her mom, she loves her mom. And she says, only if you will do that, only if you will do that. I like her when she sits in the chair. She really did a fine performance in the film. 2 daughters of Clint Eastwood. Alison Eastwood was, I think, the art student in the museum. Gene Hackman, he did a great job as Alan Richmond. Gene Hackman and Clint Eastwood, they don't share screen time in this movie. They previously worked on Unforgiven. That movie was a hit. And Absolute Power still did a good job. Ed Harris really did good as detective, homicide detective, said Frank. I really like Ed Harris in this movie. Scott Glenn did a good job as the villain, and Dennis Haysbert as Tim Collin as the assassin. He did a good job. Dennis Haysbert, and of course the actress Penny Johnson Gerald, Laura Simon, they actually both starred, they actually later both played husband and wife in 24 TV series with Keanu Reeves, Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer, in which Dennis Haysbert, he played President David Palmer in that TV show, and I watched every season I watched in 24. So that's really cool. We have both the actors in the same movie. Produced and directed by Clint Eastwood. This is 2 hours long film. There's no action in the film except when two assassins are trying to shoot him with sniper rifles, but they won't miss. Or when the car flips over the cliff. I don't know why Kate, she did not try to get out the car since it was pushed. She keeps trying to stop on the brakes. I don't know why she didn't try to buckle the seats and try to get out the car. I will do that. I don't know why she was keep clicking on the brakes, and she knew she will be she actually would be flip over the cliff and she wouldn't survive the fall. I know in the movie she did, but I still know why she didn't jump off the car. I like the scene when Tim tries to stab with a needle and kills and finish off Kate, but Luther goes and stabs in the neck, with another needle, and he puts him down and he says, he was my president. And then he says mercy, and and like I said, I was like, fuck you. And of course Clint Eastwood says, already used that option. He goes and stab and he goes and finish him. I like that scene, and he makes that the body disappears. That was awesome. I like that scene. The hospital scenes were used on the set for ER 1994 TV series. This was Clint Eastwood's 19th film he directed. Ed Harris' fee for this movie was $2.5 million. That was his fee. The scenes in museum were filmed in the Walters Art Museum. When Clint Eastwood first heard of the book turned into a film, he liked the basic plot and the characters, but disliked that most of those he considered interesting were killed off, because in the book Luther Whitney dies through half of the book. He dies. In this movie, Luther Whitney survives, and he requests to William Goldman, who was writing the script, that make sure that everyone that audience likes doesn't get killed off. So that was in the film, because Luther Whitney doesn't he isn't killed off, and Kate and of course Seth Frank, they also weren't killed off. But I didn't read the book, but only read that Luther Whitney dies in the book. Through half the book he dies. But this is based on the David Badache's best-selling novel. Now the cast, I enjoyed the cast. They're fine. The cast are all fine. This was filmed in Washington, D.C. Used was apartment of journalist Christopher Hitchens, and this was filmed between June and August 1996. Now we have a bag. He was where he shouldn't have been, and saw that he shouldn't have seen. Now, who will believe the word of a career thief and ex-con? Who will trust Luther Whitney when he says he saw a woman killed and that the man responsible for the death is the President of the United States? Clint Eastwood portrays Whitney and directs this crisp, finally acted thriller based on David Baldacci's best-selling novel. A stellar cast which includes Gene Hackman and Harris creates well-rounded characters that intensify a constantly spiraling game of cat and mouse between Whitney, local police, and the highest levels of White House power. Eastwood is a master at steadily raising the stakes in thrillers. Here, his mastery is absolute. Gene Hackman, he's lucky he's still around there, but he did a great job. I like Gene Hackman a lot. He's not in the movies anymore. But back from the 90s, I really thought that Absolute Power is a really good movie. The budget for this movie cost $50 million, and worldwide, opening weekend US Canada was $40 million, but gross world was like $50 million, so still good one. But everyone who likes this film, I think you should give a try. It's only 2 hours, but still interesting movie. I'll still say, in my opinion, Murder at 1600 is better because it has more action, it's more interesting, it's more fast paced. This is kind of a slow burn, a little, in my opinion. But I liked it. I still liked it. I liked it how Luther Whitney became a witness to a murder. How President Richmond became so violent and starts hitting the girl, and he tries to rape her. And she defends herself. So I like that in the film. Dennis Haysbert did a good job as the silent, but to me, Laura Linney was a stealer in this movie because Laura Linney, she did a good job as Kate Winney. I enjoy Laura Linney a lot in this movie. Only that. That's the reason why she's actually, I thought she was much better than Clint Eastwood, in my opinion. Not my favorite Clint Eastwood film. I'll still say, in my opinion, Clint Eastwood movies, I would still prefer Dirty Harry movies, all 5 of them. I'll put a fistful of dollars, a few dollars more, and even the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'll say much better. The Rookie, I enjoyed The Rookie. I do have the movie in Blu-ray, but I haven't reviewed the film. But The Rookie, haven't seen in a long time. But I enjoyed that movie with Charlie Sheen a lot, and he also directed that movie. Blood Work, I also have Blood Work. I like that movie too. I don't know if Blood Work was better. I wish that movie would have more action to do, but it is what it is. Still a good movie, entertaining movie. I like Absolute Power, a really good movie. Entertaining, political, crime thriller, directed by Clint Eastwood. He did an okay job directing the film. A tight-tone thriller with a twist by Roger Ebert. Chicago Sun-Times, it's rated there. I'll say Murder 1600 is my favorite film of the year, but that's it. So that's my review on Absolute Power 1997. Hope you enjoyed the review. What are the thoughts on Absolute Power? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Also, thanks for watching and take care. I'm out. Peace.